Stepping from our ordinary world into the fantastical, Immersive XP explores the weird and wonderful imaginations behind a diverse range of themed experiences. From virtual reality to escape rooms to live-action roleplay, nothing is off the table. We'll take a deep dive into what makes these adventures worth attending and which ones to avoid. Join me on a journey to explore the extraordinary and meet the people who make dreams a reality. Welcome back to another episode of Immersive XP. I'm Taylus Forge, your non-binary host based in Southern California, seamstress by trade, silly little guy by trauma. Favorite gift to receive on Valentine's Day? Chocolate-covered strawberries. Fun fact of the week. The highest-grossing romantic comedy of all time is none other than My Big Fat Greek Wedding in 2002. For those unfamiliar, the film follows a woman who belongs to a large Greek family. She falls in love with a non-Greek man and some chaos ensues due to the culture clash. The film was written by Nia Vardalos, who is also the lead female actress. What most people don't know is the movie came from Nia's one-woman theater show based on her personal experience. While Nia had pitched the concept to Hollywood numerous times, it wasn't until Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife, saw the play that the dream became a reality. Rita Wilson proposed Tom Hanks fund the film's making, and the rest is history. Not only was it the most popular rom-com, but also one of the highest-grossing independent films of all time. This week's episode is a daily quest, which is any immersive experience with a low barrier to entry and no existing intellectual property attached to it. This week, I had the pleasure of previewing an immersive experience from the Los Angeles-based theater company, The Last Call. The new show, just in time for Valentine's Day, is called Love Game. The performance is going on from February 13th through March 2nd on intermittent Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Tickets are $60 for an over 2-hour experience at the Los Angeles bar, The Virgil, which is completely rented out for the experience. Ticket price also includes a themed cocktail of your choosing. The premise of the immersive theater experience is that a lead scientist for a dating app, Matchmaker, is trying to prove that love can be quantified with data, and she can determine the best match or matches for a single. You, the audience, are participating as consultants for Matchmaker, and the actors are playing the singles. Upon entry, you are assigned to a single to observe and help coach them for finding a great match throughout the evening. How to determine the best match? With 5-minute dating sessions, of course. Ideally, by the end of the event, your single will find a successful match with your assistance, or may choose to stir chaos instead. You may also find other mysteries along the way, as some people are not exactly who they seem to be. Just like a choose-your-own-adventure, each show may end with a very different result. How the show functioned was unique compared to many other experiences I've attended. While this is the first one I've been to from the Last Call Theater, I was also told this was a change-up from their usual styles of performance, much more structured. When you arrived, you were given a badge with your assigned single and a QR code on the back if you'd like to see their dating profile video introduction. I was personally in a group with 2 other people as consultants for our single, but I saw others who had 2 to 4 attendees. We were also given a clipboard with info about our singles' likes, dislikes, past relationship info, what they're looking for, etc. Additional pages for note-taking included the names of the 7 other singles that we can meet through the speed dating. An announcer tells everyone when 5 minutes of speed dating starts and ends, along with 2 minutes in between to discuss with their consultants. After going through all the speed dating rounds, the group collectively submits 2 names to the scientist you hope to match your single with. She may also have a little trick up her sleeve to sway someone at your top spot. Then sit back and wait to see who matches with people and who remains without. The evening ends with a 3-month time skip into the future to see how all the once-were singles are doing as a result of the matches made. I'm not going to spoil who my assigned person was in case any listeners choose to attend, but one of the things I found very tricky about being a consultant was I really didn't like my assigned single. These, of course, are actors playing characters, so some people are meant to be unlikable. I could even see groups physically cringe when their assigned person says something extremely unexpected that no one would recommend for a first date. A common occurrence through the event was each group of consultants ended up with a team name that the single would refer to us as. I suggested the name The Board, and it stuck. When we observed each speed date, we would be introduced to the other team of consultants, which had various team names ranging from the groupies to a bunch of their names combined together. During the quick dates, I would occasionally butt in and request a moment as my single would tell their speed date, "Hold on one moment, the board would like to request a sidebar." I would often make observations based on the reactions of the other single. For example, if the conversation felt too one-sided, I would introduce a unique question to ask the other person. If I noticed someone felt uncomfortable about our single's profession, I would suggest a question to dig into why. While this was all pretend, it's not often you get to actually observe up close and give input into relationships in real time. In addition to my general use of observation, I was even able to use my more niche knowledge on polyamory when the topic was brought up between interested parties. Aside from participating in the dates and giving assistance to your own single, you could absolutely just leave and do recon on the other groups in the bar. One member of my group chose to mostly listen to other people's groups and gather intel for our benefit. Not only that, but talking to people like the assistant bartender, who is also an actor, could give useful insight into the more sinister things going behind the scenes. Things that I like. The bar being entirely for the experience made it so much easier to have both an immersive space for speed dating, but also a chill way to get drinks with no line. I also love that the assistant bartender was a cast member with interwoven backstories with some of the singles. In addition, having your choices influence the outcome allows you to have very different experiences every night. You could definitely come back and be a consultant again with prior information and still enjoy yourself. Some other small things I enjoyed. I did this experience completely solo and never felt awkward. Everything was so engaging that even having friends with me might have been fun, but completely unnecessary. The choice to have singles refer to us with a team name was cute and made it a lot easier to feel involved. In addition, I liked that this was a longer experience. I never felt rushed, aside from the timer going off for speed dates, but overall I got to actually enjoy myself without ever looking at a clock. What I loved most was how inclusive and queer-friendly the potential relationships were. All the speed dates met with anyone in the room, but some had preferences. I appreciate the representation in a show about romance. Things I didn't like. With this being inside a small bar and the show's choice to add karaoke into the mix, the ability to hear anyone became troublesome. I'd originally planned to bring a friend, but I told them afterward that I was glad they couldn't come because the sound would have been way too much for them. The most difficult part about this experience, aside from the sound, was definitely the parking. It's mostly residential, and I ended up arriving late just because I looked for parking for so long. As for the audience, this is a 21 plus only event, with a parent target audience being around mid-20s to 30s. While anyone above 21 could definitely enjoy themselves, the general vibe and themes might be difficult for some people. As for accessibility, the Virgil is not wheelchair accessible with a few steps in the middle of the bar. It is a cramped space for a sold-out show and little movement available. Those with sensory issues, especially with sound, will likely have trouble focusing on the speed dates. There are also not many opportunities to sit, and a lot of standing is expected. Also, since parking is so difficult, you may need to walk far to get to the venue. Overall, the space is not well suited for many people, so take that into consideration before buying a ticket. Personal recommendations. Make sure to arrive as early as possible. Parking in the area is a nightmare, and ride-sharing may be a better option. Plenty of engagement throughout the evening makes for a more interesting outcome. Make sure not to overshadow your fellow audience members and let the actors do their thing. Was it worth the price? For a unique experience in supporting a small local theater, I would say yes. Many would find the ticket price higher, but in order to continue having cool experiences like this with people trying things out, we should expect to pay more. I've definitely paid similar or more money on shows lasting half the amount of time. Overall, Love Game is a fun show about finding romance with science. Whether you're a hopeless romantic or a hardened cynic, there's something for everyone. You may even find out that you're a pretty darn good matchmaker. Until next time, remember, a gift given freely is a free token for something to be taken randomly. Check out our website, immersivexps.com, to join our free Ko-fi, which will have visuals and additional content of the immersive experiences discussed in each episode. If you are an immersive experience artist or creator, no matter how small, consider contacting us so you can take part on a future podcast. This podcast is recorded and produced by SoCal Podcast Studio in Orange County. Thanks for listening. The film was written by Nia. I need to say this name repeatedly so I can say it properly. The film was written by Nia. I'm going to fuck up every time. The film was written by Nia Vardalos. The film was written by Nia Vardalos. I can't say it. Oh no. I'm like, my head is just TV static. I think it's the rain. The rain is messing with my head.